Hi and welcome to Superx Growth Hacks video series episode 1. It's a bi-weekly video series event where I'll be inviting top growth hackers across the industry to share the hacks, their journey and their experience. So welcome to Superx Growth Hackers video series. The episode 1 we have Mr. Anil with us. So he is a growth hacker at Thontepu. So Anil, over to you. Can you just explain us your growth hacking journey so far?
Yeah. So my journey with startup started almost in 2013 when I was with Hike, and since then I've been working as a growth hacker, product manager, data guy, and multiple startups. So most of the startups that I've worked with, a good amount of time that I've catered to is one is Hike, second one Byju's, and the third one now where I'm with PhonePe. So at Hike, I've done more of a growth hacking stuff where customer retention was a bigger problem for us and solving it was the main task. And the second one at Byju's, I was more a product guy there, where the task was to build the ability to enhance growth going forward. So it's about building scalable systems. So when you talk about growth, it's more like experimentation. Growth is always synonymous with experiments. In the sense, I would say like a lot of A/B testing has to be done, a lot of data crunching has to be done. The first and foremost task is to capture the amount of data that you have available in the market and then crunch it, analyze it, show it properly, and then when you spit it out, you just have to look at what sorts of patterns do you get, how do you even understand things, and what is it that you want to build going forward. So if you just come up with an example saying that about growth that people do, at Hike what we did is we understood we tried to understand what was making a user stick in the system. So what we try to do is when we analyze data, we took up a week's users, the new users for a week, and then what we saw is what is a pattern that they followed or what was their behavior which made them retain in the next month. Once that data was there and we understood certain levers or certain features that they were exploring which made them retain in the next month, we had to validate this data back. We went back to a previous month, checked out whether these parameters really have an impact and whether those first week users of the previous month to stick on or not. If yes, then we were good to go, and we started off with something called a new user journey. So what happened is we tried to move the dormant users who come into the system into the buckets that we think will have a higher retention towards us. So that was one part of the thing that we built up. And the second one is at Hike itself, what we looked at is, there has to be a curiosity factor that has to be built in within the audience or the users that come onto your system. So December 25th, we launched chat themes. 2013, December 25th, we launched chat themes. But what we did is, a day prior to it, we sent a notification to all our users which said that, come on to Hike, just update your app and we'll show you some magic. So what happened is, generally there's an app update cycle that happens in the app industry. It takes at least maybe a week for getting 60% of your customers to the latest build. But what we saw is within 2 days we had that 60% customers on the latest build and they were experiencing the magic of chat themes. So it's just a curiosity factor that builds in. Just a small one, but I'm not sure how much it works for everyone.
Okay, cool. So in Hike, right, as you said, the major challenge was to get users, retaining the users. So by the time when Hike was like in that peak, you had competitors from WhatsApp, even WeChat was big players there. So how did you acquire customers? Because most of the users were already familiar with some other application and you want to make sure that users are using your app too, which is you guys are offering same solutions altogether. So how do you make sure, like, what are strategies you use for acquiring new customers?
So the first thing, when you have such a huge competitor like WhatsApp, what you have to try to understand is that uh, what is my target user segment? That has to be very, very clear in your head. So even now, I do not see it, or anyone in Hike doesn't tell you that, WhatsApp is a competitor to us.
Okay.
Because the target segment of Hike is very, very different to what WhatsApp caters. WhatsApp is a messaging platform and it is available for the complete market. But for Hike, the age group of 15 to 25 is very crucial for us. And the whole product pitch itself is as such. Hike is more of a personalized application rather than a blanket application for everyone. It's not a WhatsApp. So, and what we're trying to see is it's also about data. So when we looked at data, what we saw is, even the people who were retaining in the application, they used all the cheeky features like stickers. There were a lot of XOXOs that were going on. So it's a girlfriend-boyfriend chat that was going on, and then these people, when we talk to customers, a lot of customer surveys that has to happen. So when we were talking to customers, what we understood is they do not have more than uh, 2 or 3 active chats and a special group with their friends in the app. So it's not like I have my family on Hive. It's more of a youthful application, and every feature that we built was for those kind of target users. So it is never a competition for us, but it is more like enhancing those features so that the target segment that we had comes on board.
Okay, cool. Okay, so for the retaining those users, right? Like, what is the metrics you measure? So when do you make sure your user is not coming back, or what are the things you measure, and how do you make sure your users are coming back?
That's a very broad question, I would say.
Yeah.
So when you are having an app, or when you're looking at certain growth strategy, the first point that you look at is there's something called the NOT metric that you look at. There has to be only one metric, and any product or feature that you are building up has to be aligned in such a way that it affects the NOT metric positively. For us, the NOT metric was retention. For that, whether the person is whether the person is using a feature or not, how is it that he is using the feature, what is the adoption of the feature, everything, the strategy was as such.
Okay. Cool. Since you have mentioned the NOT metrics, right? Like for a startup, so how do they keep their growth metrics? On what basis do they keep it up? So for example, if a startup, they say that I need million users is my NOT metric. So if that is the case, or it can be anything, right? So when you create such a long view of metrics, so how do you break it up? And then how do you measure your progress, keeping like you're making progress?
So when you have a NOT metric, let's take this example of when you talk about I need a million users in the system. When you talk about I need a million users in the system, there are 2 parts of it. One, you have to acquire more users. The second one is you have to keep the users intact in the system. So now your NOT metric is a million users target, but these 2 are the levers to it. When you add more users and you retain more users. So it next boils down to these 2 factors. So any feature that you're building out are to be looked out as such that is this such a cool feature that I can get more users, or is it a good improvement that people would continue using this product. You have to again start breaking down into chunks. It's not that everything will affect it, but you have to break down those levers or understand the sub NOT metrics and then go ahead targeting each of them.
Okay, cool. So how often do you measure your metrics, whether you're achieving it or not?
It has to be a daily work.
Okay, so for Hike you are measuring it every day.
Yes.
Would that be like, there may few days which goes up, which goes down, right? So would that give you a clear clarity on that rather than giving a user much more time to understand the pattern better?
So, see, looking at data is a daily task,
Mm-hmm.
but understanding the pattern is on a weekly or a fortnight basis that you have to look at.
Okay.
So, because you never know in the app space, what happens is there can be certain bugs that creep in, or when you're shipping something, there can be a problem with the servers failing or whatever it might happen. Any external factors can come down into the system. So it's not that one day that you look at the data. It has to be every day monitored and analyzed at certain frequency.
Okay, cool. So coming back to your phone pays days, like how does an average day look like for you there?
So the first thing that happens on a daily basis is you check your dashboards,
Okay.
all your data dashboards, if everything is fine or not. Have you any metric that has moved or not?
Mm-hmm.
If there has been a dip, you just have to just immediately look at why there has been a dip. So you again, there are high level metrics.
Mm-hmm.
If everything is fine, you're happy. You just take you drill it down to the next level and look at, okay, there can be times where I look at my success rate is fine, but you never know if your credit card success rate went up and your debit card success rate went down,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
and whether they just I would say that they just averaged out. So you deep down a bit and then understand, okay, if this is fine, yes it is, and then go ahead. After that, once you look at the data, the next part of it is starting off with hypothesis for the new experiment that you want to do, or maybe looking at the previous day's experiment that you started on. So it has to be always about experimentation.
Okay.
So the day starts with looking at data and shipping out experiments, thinking, brainstorming about the other parameters or the experiments that can be done and overall improvements can be done. This will be mostly in the first half of the day when you have some peace of mind of thinking about new stuff. In the second half, more of discussions with the team
Okay.
as to what we ship last day or the last week, and how is it performing, and more with the UI UX guys trying to understand of any new designs that they think would help the users or not. Post that, evaluation sessions when I try to understand that whatever that we have done on the day, how are we planning to implement it in the next week, or maybe I would say the second half of the afternoon would be more like planning phase.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So what is the true metric which you have set for PhonePe?
For me right now is I deal more about the merchant checkout pages. So for me the metric is people coming into the system, that is one, and people checking out of the system.
Okay.
So I need both of them to be increasing,
Okay.
which means that it's user acquisition, and the second part is a proper product that and a seamless experience for users to make a checkout.
Okay. Since we had the offline discussion that PhonePe had a huge growth in this demonetization period, right? Post that, like even Paytm was highly competing in that time, even Freecharge, every payment players were taking a big competition was going on there. So what all strategies you guys tried out at that time, which worked, which didn't work?
So PhonePe PhonePe is completely backed by UPI, as everyone knows it, and the beauty is people try to the cashbacks and everything that they get in the system, they try to redeem that money. So what happens with that is whenever there are transactions that are happening on the system, is like people come in, because Beam also, it was introduced by Narendra Modi, a lot of people had come into the app, but for them to experience UPI, the problem with UPI is that SMS is sent out from your mobile. Earlier, not right now, but right now the norms have been a bit relaxed. But earlier then, the SMS has to be sent out by the mobile. What happens is everyone, they're just very scared that, without experiencing the app, I've spent almost like 1 to 1.5 rupee. That might not be a huge amount for us, but for a normal, if you think about it, a normal user, it's a fintech app, and you come on, you lose money.
Yeah.
The perception, there is a huge perception gap there. But what we try to do is, whenever a person makes a transaction, we started giving them cashback.
Okay.
Saying that, make your first UPI transaction and then give cashback. And this is not, randomly giving cashback. What we saw is that when there is a UPI transaction, a person making a UPI transaction, there is very high likelihood that he continues to make UPI transactions. So that is when we incentivized it only once and not every time that the person comes in the app.
Okay, so what is the major customer acquisition challenge for PhonePe?
For PhonePe, more of the demon down.
Okay.
I would say it's like a multiple X growth because of the demon.
Okay, cool. Okay, so going forward in PhonePe, right? Like, what is the major challenges you have faced, and how are you planning to tackle it in going forward?
So the major challenge that PhonePe faces right now is, for the matter of fact, any fintech startup in a personal, I would say in a B2C space faces is utilization of the wallet or the instrument. So for us, just take an example over there. If I'd say that I put some money in my PhonePe wallet, the challenge is that it has to be accepted across merchants, across multiple players. So expansion of the business is much more crucial for us right now, because now there was a time when adding money to my Paytm wallet was tough for me. But once Uber came in, like, okay, I'll use it at Uber, I'll use the money in Uber at any point of time. And now with Paytm offline kicking in, so I don't have any problem of adding money to Paytm wallet right now. But if you talk about PhonePe, right now we are backed by certain big merchants right at this point also as we talk, and our BD team is working on it. So we are more of a concentration is on the offline part of it, because on online we have good merchants. Let's talk about Flipkart, Jabong, Myntra. That's a huge base.
Okay, cool. So what is the one of the best hacks which you tried which worked really good for you in the whole in your whole journey so far?
The whole journey so far has been the multiple things. I'd say it's never one thing that works for you. It has to be a combination of multiple things.
What comes in top of your mind? Just share that.
Top of my mind, it comes like so it's not a single one that I've done it, but at Hike, what we did was we introduced hidden mode. So where a boyfriend and girlfriend can keep on chatting with them, with their partners, and their friends would never know that they've talked to them.
Okay.
Thank you, Anil, for sharing your experience. For the people who are watching it, if you have any questions or clarifications, please shoot us with the hashtag AskSuperX. Thanks for watching, and catch you up on the next episode. Till then, to keep updated, like or subscribe our page. Thank you.